Welcome everybody to Empower Performance. Today's guest is Evan Johnson. He is a personal trainer and his company is called Ascend. Evan, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about your business, how you got started, we'd appreciate that.
My wife Kristen and I own Ascent Performance Training here in Cincinnati. We started back in 2021. Um, we got into fitness. I mean, she's been an athlete her entire life, so fitness has been kind of a no-brainer for her. I just started working out when I was in, middle school, high school,
Mhm.
and then in college to attract girls. So, uh, and then put on a little bit of weight after college and decided I needed to do something about it. So I started getting back into weightlifting and
Mhm.
learning about fitness and realized I loved it. And then when COVID hit, kind of made me rethink my priorities. So decided to leave my job and pursue personal training, and it's been going really well. We started out with out of our garage, started out with a few rec centers, and now we're operating out of a big main space. We're building a sports program and a couple of classes here planned for the future. So it's going really well. We're excited about it.
Cool. Your wife is part of the business. She's a college soccer coach, but she also works with high school and college athletes for speed training. Is that correct?
Yeah. She does a little bit of training for moms, like postpartum, but she
Mhm.
mainly focuses on the sports aspect, mainly soccer, because that's her passion. She loves doing it. She loves to do speed testing. We became speed coaches this year, certified speed coaches. So we're doing speed camps at our gym now,
Mhm.
um, working with young athletes, and she loves doing that.
Mhm. You mainly work with like general population for normal personal training purposes, correct?
hmm Yeah,
Okay,
just
so
kind of
so
a
you'll lose
mix.
weight kind of thing, gain some muscle, the general goals sort of thing.
Yeah, probably majority would be within that line, mostly like
Mhm.
parents, people in their 40s and 50s looking to lose weight. There's a couple of, and some seniors trying to
Yeah,
stay strong and stay independent.
yeah. And then you also have started obstacle course racing in the past
hmm
few years, if I'm not mistaken, and you train clients for obstacle course racing. So
Yeah,
what is obstacle course racing for someone who doesn't know anything about it?
so what we do, we train for Spartan races, but because there's a lot of
Mhm.
different types, but they all kind of follow the same formula. It's an outside race over different terrain
Mhm.
and sprinkled out with different obstacles, set like climbing, monkey bars, stuff like that. And there's different distances. The one that we train our group for is just like the 5K, but
Mhm.
um, we've run the 10K and we've run the half marathon before as well.
Mhm. Okay. And do you have any favorite and least favorite obstacles so people can kind of have an idea of
Mm.
what to expect, what they can look forward to, what they can dread?
Oh yeah. My favorite obstacle I think it's called the multi rig. So
Okay.
you start by swinging you by a swinging ring. It's kind of like the Olympic gymnasts use.
Okay. Yep.
So you have to swing across two or three of them, and then you
Mhm.
swing up to a horizontal bar. You got to shimmy across the bar,
Mhm.
and then grab another ring, and then kind of Georgia the Jungle swing over, and do that a few times and hit a bell. So it's pretty far. It's about maybe 10 yards long,
Okay.
but you
And you're
just
just
kind of
swinging
feel
across and all that.
yeah, yeah, it's
So
fun.
I think that kind of stuff is good because when you're kids, monkey bars and running and climbing and jumping and crawling and all that is a very natural kind of movement thing to do. I find as we grow up, we sort of lose touch with that. It's nice to give people that same ability. It kind of feels like, Ninja Warrior courses a little bit. But
hmm
I think that's a really nice thing is you can grow up and you can still be active and you can still play and you don't have to hate working out. You don't have to just go sit on a bike or a
hmm
Stairmaster for an hour. You don't have to
I
just
think
use all the
that's it.
machines. So yeah.
I agree. I think when you're there, one thing you notice there's definitely a kind of like a childlike excitement that a lot of people have
Mhm,
for this. There's
mhm,
people that travel across the entire country. They do this stuff all the time.
mhm,
Um, and it absolutely is fun to it. And that's one of the reasons we got into it in the first place. My brothers and
mhm.
I, because we wanted something fun to do to kind of keep us in shape. We're all in our 30s, right? So we're trying to find fun new ways besides just running to
Sure,
keep us in shape.
sure. That's maybe, and you can probably speak to this as well. But with my clients, one of the main things I try to teach them is there's no one correct form of exercise if you're doing this for the
hmm
long haul. With the whole sports performance side of things, you can say you got to do the best thing and you have to do the right
Right.
amount and all that stuff. But if someone's just trying to get in better shape, there's a lot of ways you can tackle it. I don't wanna denounce someone likes taking spin classes or yoga or Pilates or Zumba
Mhm.
or whatever. That's fine because it's better than the alternative, which is doing nothing at all. And if you can find a
That's
couple
true.
activities that you enjoy and you focus on maybe your mobility here, your strength there, your cardio there, you can kinda just
Mhm.
blend it into the week and you find enjoyment out of it. That's probably the main recipe that I give to people.
Yeah,
I do think strength training
absolutely.
is the closest thing to the fountain of youth, that you can
Absolutely.
get. I think it's, with some bias, one of the best things you can do for your body. But if you never touch a weight in your life, it doesn't mean you still can't be healthy or feel good or move well or any of that
That's
stuff.
true.
So it's nice to see that obstacle crocheting is an option for people that may never want to touch a barbell in their lives,
Mhm.
but still want to get in great shape and have a good time. And I imagine the community aspect is pretty big there.
It's huge. It's actually an incredibly supportive community.
Mhm,
And when I talk to like I'm trying to like talk to a few of my clients into coming with us next year,
mhm.
they get kind of concerned that it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm in shape enough for it. I'm like, you should see the people that do this race, man. Like there's
Sure.
people, there are literally all sorts of shapes and sizes out
Mhm.
there. There's a lady, God, we were running the half marathon in Florida last year. There was a woman in her 80s. She had her walking sticks. She was just cruising right along.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things. It's super supportive. I mean, you fall down, there's gonna be someone there to pick you up every time.
Hmm.
That's another fun thing. You're not out there by yourself.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot harder to just make yourself do it on a random Tuesday or something like that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's fun. Everyone gets really hyped, and people
yeah.
are yelling and playing music and stuff. It's really fun.
And you also have really cool photos that come out of it. I've seen you post a couple of them, and yeah.
Yeah, we kind of played with it this year. I haven't posted them yet, but we definitely spent a good amount of time posing on obstacles when we spot a cameraman and be like,
That's funny. Yeah, you gotta get
yeah.
like a mohawk or a mustache for the
I,
next run, to get some crazy
oh,
pictures.
well, you need to see these photos when I post them. Actually, my brother talked me into growing a mustache,
Okay.
and I'm not doing it again. I mean, you can see I
Yeah,
haven't shaven in a few days here, but
yeah.
I grew my mustache for about over a month before this
Mhm,
race. It looks
mhm.
exactly like this. It didn't get any
Oh,
thicker.
nothing changed?
It just got longer and
Oh,
creepier to
gotcha.
look at. I went to my eye doctor's to pick up some contact lenses. The girl opened the window and just laughed at me in my face.
And so you decided to shave.
so, so I just put my head down and walked back to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if ever you need a sign that mustaches aren't for you, it's that. And I do the same
It,
thing that every guy does, where as you shave, you take everything off except the mustache,
like,
and you show your significant
like,
other and see if they like it. And
dude,
they almost
what do you
always
think?
don't, and then you just get rid of it. Yeah, but
Like,
you just
babe,
think for a moment, "Do I keep this?" Yeah,
like, babe,
it's
hold on. Well, I
that's like
try
a
to hold
Shark
on
Tank
to,
pitch. Yeah,
it almost is.
yeah,
Well, you can't really tell from your angle, but I have like
mhm,
3 or 4 hairs right under my bottom lip. I wanted to pull
yeah,
off the Pedro Pascal, but
no
it
chance.
wasn't, no, it wasn't thick enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun
Well,
though, man.
hopefully, mustaches don't have any correlation with Spartan race success, because if it did,
I've come to learn it kind of does,
it
which is
does.
it's really sad to see there's a ceiling on my performance and it's my
Yeah.
ability to grow hair.
Oh, it's, you can also think it's inspirational that you're able to overcome that and
This
still run a
really
Spartan
is,
race. Yeah.
it's like you hear stories about people, you see actually there's people that do these races and this is not a joke, people that do these
Uh,
races that are like amputees and
okay.
stuff. They have their own teams. So it's like,
Mhm.
you know, in terms of bravery, there's them, there's me doing a
Yeah,
Spartan race without a
mustacheless
mustache,
men.
like right
Yeah,
underneath. Yeah, mustaches.
and then everybody else. Yeah.
We're brave. Yeah.
Yeah.
We go out
So
every day.
kind of along those lines, though, your personal training can also be tailored to preparing people for the Spartan races.
Hmm.
So how would that look different? How would you prepare someone for a Spartan race rather than just normal personal training?
So we actually started a class last year to
Mhm.
prep for it. And it
Okay.
was designed just to be exactly kind of mimic some of the parts of the Spartan race.
Mhm.
Like we actually have sandbags, we have a rope,
Mhm.
we would do, lunges with the sandbags on the back or with kettlebells, just
Mhm.
strengthen the legs.
Mhm.
We do kind of like circuit training that way so that the body was constantly moving.
Mhm.
We stronger focus on things like grip strength. So performing dead hangs, pull-ups, or modified pull-ups,
Mhm.
depending on abilities. Since the majority of these obstacles, you're either carrying something or you're carrying yourself.
Sure.
So it was mainly around those. And also Cincinnati is notorious for the fact that it takes place on a ski slope, so it's really humbling on your legs. So we do
Yeah,
a ton
running
of single
hills.
leg strength. Mm-hmm.
Sure, sure, sure.
A lot of hills.
So you said you did it to kind of get like a cardio stimulus, strength stimulus, but it
Hmm.
beats just general running. I can kind of concur with
Hell
that.
yeah.
If I have
Hell
to
yeah.
run around a track or just like on the road, to me it's the most boring thing in the world. But if I find a trail and I'm able to go up and down and left and right and jump over
Hmm.
branches and rocks and all that, I actually think it's great because you kind of get a built-in interval training stimulus
Hmm.
instead of it just being a normal flat steady pace. You get a
Oh
strength
yeah.
stimulus, especially when you go up the hills or down the hills. And I'd even argue that you get a mobility stimulus in your hips, having to pick your legs up to get up, high inclines, or even in your
Oh
ankles,
yeah.
with it kind of, being challenged at all these different angles as opposed to flat surface. So,
Yeah.
if not able to, anybody listening, if you're not able to get into running, try finding a trail. And if that seems a little too risky or challenging, even just a hike gives you the same stimulus, just at a lower speed, and it's typically
Hmm.
safer. Um, but there's
Yeah.
lots of better ways to get into that as opposed to just forcing yourself to run, thinking that's the only way that you can get into cardio. Yeah.
Thank God it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the hardest part training for it, but
Yep.
yeah. It for us it's more just like we like to goof around and do the obstacles, and
Sure.
at this point it's honestly, like we're in our 30s, so we know that
Mhm,
every year forward is making it more and more difficult as we, like I have a son, my brother has two,
mhm,
we're trying to keep ourselves to the standard of fitness that we think we belong in.
mhm. Yeah, so that actually leads me into the next thing I was gonna ask you about. You have a son who's, you said 2.5, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's 2.5.
Hmm.
Um, before you had a son, I'm sure you had all the time in the world, in your,
Oh
late
God.
20s, 30s, and all the stuff to do whatever you wanted with exercise.
Did I
How has
ever?
that changed? How can this be applicable to somebody who has kids and still needs to make time for exercise? What is your advice?
There's kind of a mixed bag, but
Mhm.
you hear the phrase everyone has the same 24 hours, and
Yeah,
technically that's true, right? But
sure,
we all have different responsibilities, and I think kind of what you said, something's better than nothing. I like to tell my
sure.
clients that, something's better than nothing. Yesterday I wish I had an hour to work out, but I didn't. I had a small 30-minute window after
Mhm,
he's taking a nap. I finished some stuff around the house, go
mhm,
box in the garage for 30 minutes.
mhm,
The other day I was out in the back patio with Jet. I had my dumbbells with me, just trying to doing
sure.
supersets of dumbbells and playing construction vehicles.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's nice.
it's an adjustment period
Um,
though, bro. Like you're gonna see how this goes, right? Like at
uh,
first, it's gonna take a huge back seat because you have this entirely new dynamic, and
mhm,
you just got to give yourself a little grace, like because it's temporary where you have this new baby and your brain is broken because you haven't slept.
mhm,
it's You're trying to just like keep your new baby alive and everything like that, and you're just enjoying all the moments that come with it.
mhm,
So yeah, like it's fitness is going to take a small back seat, and that's if you give yourself a little bit of grace, you're going to be totally fine. And then figure out the being flexible enough to find a strategy that works, right? Like if you got to wake up a little earlier in the morning, squeeze something in, or during nap
mhm,
time, or after work or something like that. It's not the most convenient, but I guess
mhm.
that's a good lesson to learn, right, about fitness is that there's really never the perfect time,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's, kinda going off that. I was talking to one of my clients about it today, and you were talking about how that everyone has 24 hours, but it's not the same 24 hours. My first job that I ever had before I got into training or went to school or anything like that was, I was a dishwasher. I hated that job. I worked, an 8-hour shift. It was miserable, and I thought, "This is just the worst thing ever." And the person I worked the morning shift, so you get the early mornings. Person who relieved me, would do the evening shift. He worked 2 full-time minimum wage jobs just to try to make ends meet. So he's working 16 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Oof.
For me to say that
Ooh.
he has the same amount of time as me is completely disrespectful to his reality.
Yeah.
And so him having to find a way to incorporate fitness, would be totally different than me having a lot more time, a lot more
Hmm.
energy.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know how you can have time for anything, 16-hour days, 8 hours sleep,
It's
eat at some
Jesus.
point. So I had nothing but respect for him. But you
Yeah.
see parents typically go through this as well. Um, One of the most important things with training is recovery. And if you're not
Hmm.
sleeping properly, you're not recovering properly. And that really messes
Yeah.
with your workouts. Um, but still, like you said, it takes a backseat. It doesn't get thrown out of the car
Mhm.
altogether. You know, you still find
No.
even 10 minutes. 10 minutes is better than nothing. And so when some people say, I'm so busy, I work a 9 to 5 job and all that stuff, I don't have extra time, but they watch a 4 hour football game, once or twice a week. It's like your
Mhm.
time you're doing the commercials, you can't do 10 push ups and 10 squats or something like that. But it's still a way for the
That's
majority of
true.
people, I'm not going to say everybody, to do something that helps them be more active on what they currently are, even if it's
Mhm.
skipping the elevator and taking the stairs. Um, so it's just
Yeah, I
trying to
mean,
find opportunities. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, when our son was born, biggest thing that we were doing was walks. Just
Yeah.
simple walks, especially those beginning stages. My wife, she's postpartum.
Sure.
She physically, she's not cleared to exercise yet. So
Sure.
you just put the little guy in the stroller and go for a little walk. Do that a couple times a day
Sure.
if we have the time for it, right? And then, honest to God, the irony is, it's actually easier to get a workout in when they're babies because they can't escape.
Oh, yeah. I got you. So now it's
That,
harder because you can get into
yeah,
trouble.
yeah.
Yeah.
First, 6 months, like, yeah, you're exhausted, but and just set him on the floor of the or his little bouncer thing in the garage. You get a
Yeah.
workout in. Now, Jesus, dude, I'm trying to get I'm just trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
do a workout. I open the garage up. He bolts to the backyard. So I grab a weight, I run to the backyard. He decides to run
Yeah.
back to the front yard.
I guess he is your
It's-
workout though, chasing him around is your cardio. You don't need to do any of
Bro,
that anymore. You just chase him
he's my
around.
steps. He's my
Yeah.
steps 100%. My situation's a little different because I'm home with him
Mhm.
during the day because, once I'm done working at like 9 or 10, I'm done
Mhm.
physically, just at work so that I'm here, you know. But yeah, it's you, you gotta find the middle ground because if you wait for that perfect time, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
You only get busier. You got to you have to be able to adapt. And I think that's the hardest part.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, kind of along those lines, I will not get a plug for this. I'm not sponsored by this company, but I thought you would find this interesting. I think it's called Tough Toddler. It's like a playpen for toddlers. And you can shape it in like an octagon and it can have like a punching bag, but you can also make it like a little soccer goal. And then like it has basketball hoops and all that stuff.
You could put a second toddler in there, put some gloves
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of making them a cage fight, but sure. Yeah. I guess you could put two toddlers and see who the best toddler is. But, um,
The
no, but
Thunderdome.
like it's just all
Yeah.
the different sports and all that. So like if you were able to prop that up in the gym and all that, it's a good way to keep them confined to a space, let them go crazy. Actually, from a young
Yeah.
age, get connected
And
to exercise.
that
Yeah.
definitely works, right?
Yeah.
We bought one ourselves
Okay.
with that purpose where we could, as he was getting more mobile, but
Mhm.
he wasn't like smart enough to realize like he could escape and that he couldn't just wander like a
Okay.
goldfish. We could
Okay.
create a barrier. It's when they learn that they can
Climb out of it.
escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get real angry and they're like,
Yeah.
what am I doing in this cage like an animal?
Yeah.
They start yelling at you. So that doesn't work with Jet anymore.
Yeah.
He's free range like a chicken. I just got to make sure he doesn't run into the road.
And
um,
put him back in the house at night so he doesn't
Put
get
him back in
attacked
the
by
house.
coyotes. Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's crazy.
like now at times if I'm lucky I get that gap to work out between clients,
Mhm.
that's the best time
Mhm.
to work out before he wakes up. But now it's there's a lot of times where I just like got the jump rope. We're in the
Mhm.
basement, he's playing with something, I'm just doing some jump rope and what I'm trying to do right now is telling Kristen this is I want him to be around when I'm working out.
So he can see
Kind of
you
like what
and
you
get the
mhm.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I want him
Yeah.
to see that. Like the other day, I was doing some ball slams and he wanted to do it. So I handed him his little soccer ball and he's doing little ball slams on the ground.
Sure.
He
Sure.
was doing his version of push ups. It was really cute.
That was for me, I ask clients what their goals are, and then I ask them the why behind their goals. Because most clients will have the same goals. They'll say, lose a bit of weight, gain a bit of muscle, get a
Right.
little bit more in
Right.
shape, that kind of stuff, which
Hmm.
is totally fine. But that's not why they're training. They're training for their why. That's what they really want to achieve. So if they say, I want to feel more
Hmm.
confident, even if they don't lose 5 pounds, like they say, I want to lose 5 pounds, maybe they lose 5 pounds of fat, gain 5 pounds of muscle. The scale says they don't lose any weight,
Right.
they still would be in a completely like different state physically.
Hmm.
And then they can start feeling confident from that point. So it's like that's what they really, really want to achieve is they want to feel confident, they want to feel this, they want to feel that. And
Hmm.
one of my favorite answers I've heard from a client during a consultation was um, she said she wanted to set a good example for her kids. And I was
That's
like, well, that's
awesome.
beautiful. It's like
That's
that's a
awesome, man.
very strong why. And every time she worked out, she was like the greatest client a person can have. She had 100% effort, was totally dialed in. Um, She was super committed, and
Hell
she
yeah.
had great results. So that's one of
That's
the
huge.
biggest pieces of advice I give to someone is if you want to succeed, don't say what you want to achieve, understand why you want to achieve that thing, and that's
Hmm.
really, really what you're training for.
Oh yeah.
In that case, whatever the pain of exercise is, it should be worth it. If your why is strong enough in theory, it is worth it. Focus more on
Yeah.
what you're receiving than what you're paying, if that makes sense, and that helps with
Yeah.
discipline.
Yeah. I mean, my
Yeah,
most successful clients, they're the ones that have that strongest internal motivation. You know, like one of my
sure.
hardest workers, she's freaking like 86 or something like that.
Mhm, mhm.
She does not like working out, but
Yeah,
but she tells me she keeps coming back because she loves how she feels afterward,
sure, sure.
and she's seeing the results, man. Her bones are, she's got the test to prove that her bones have gotten stronger.
Yeah, more
Like
dense. Yeah, because
they're more
osteoporosis is
dense. Yeah.
huge, huge,
Yeah,
especially
dude. She's
for older women. Yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she's got the
Um,
proof that of it.
what would you say is for you? What feels like scoring a touchdown? What is a huge win for you as a trainer? What makes it all worth it?
To make it all worth it
Mhm,
is saying that it's actually made someone's life better.
sure.
Um, you know, like when we finally hit those big goals, but seeing how the long term effects of it,
Mhm,
you know, like I mentioned that this older woman that I trained, the one
mhm,
in her 80s, the fact that she was scared to get on the ground when we first
mhm,
met, you know, she could
mhm,
barely get down on the floor and back up without pain, moving
mhm,
with pain, you know. And she says that pain is pretty much gone at this point. She can get down on the floor and back up. You know, we're squatting, we're deadlifting, not a
mhm,
bunch, but um, knowing that working together is going to make, you know, her life easier,
mhm.
right? Like
I've had,
it's
yeah.
changing.
Yeah, along those lines, people would think, "Oh, I get super hyped when someone hits a PR." You know, they add 5 pounds to their bench
Hmm.
or their deadlifts. That's great.
Hmm.
But then that's not the main reason why I do this. I almost tell people that, um, whatever their goals are, it's almost a secondary goal to me. Health is the number one thing. So if they
Hmm.
can generally move better, feel better, have less pain throughout the day, be less likely to get injured and all that stuff, and then they get to get, bigger arms, if that's their goal, then, like, great. If they wanna if it's a female client, she wants a bigger butt or she wants a flatter
Hmm.
stomach, 'cause those are the things that you end up hearing quite a bit. That's all great, but for me, that's like a secondary win as a trainer. It's not the thing that gives me the biggest
Hmm.
thrill. The biggest thrill is someone said, really stupid stuff sometimes, but it's like, that first client I was telling you about, she worked at a, hardware store, um, where they also sell plants and all that stuff. And someone needed to buy like a bag of mulch. And so there's a college kid who was her coworker, and he goes and tries to grab the bag of mulch from the bottom of this stack, which that's not how it works because there's a bunch of weight on it, so you can't do that. And so she was in her
Okay.
50s, and she climbed like an animal to the top of the, giant stack of mulch, ripped it off with one hand, one big heavy bag of mulch with one hand, and then climbed back down, handed it to a college kid, and just showed him up, and, like, stuff like that. Or one of my clients lost 80 pounds, and he doesn't need a CPAP machine anymore, you know? It's like those things for
Hell yeah,
me
dude. That's awesome.
are are the thing that
Hmm.
makes it the most worth it, is you get to see people think that they kinda reclaim their lives a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to
so
change my answer to the person who gets a bigger butt. That's for me.
the
That's
most
it.
important thing. Yeah.
That's
Well,
it. When you get
yeah.
seeing that dump truck roll down the street, man,
Yeah. That's the main reason to do everything.
it's why we do what we do.
Sure.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a great answer. I think that's one thing people think, "Oh, being a personal trainer sounds fun. You get to train all the time, this, that, the other." It's still a job. I love my job. I love helping
Hmm.
people. But still, sometimes it's not the best hours, or sometimes you have to be very flexible with your schedule.
Right.
Um, Sometimes you're in the gym all day, and it makes you not want to work out on your own later, but you know you should do it because
Yeah.
you don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yeah, man.
So it's not always the most glamorous thing, but when you can kind of show people the reality, but also the positive side of it. The real
Hmm.
reason to get personal training, in my opinion, because you like to see people win. And when
Yeah.
you get to have that, it makes it worth it. So
Absolutely. I mean, I think the fact a lot of things that we get, a lot of us trainers, we get into it because we see what it's done to our own lives,
sure,
right? You know, it makes us more confident, makes us healthier, makes us
sure,
move better.
sure.
You know, I think just preaching that message, that's a big one. The weight loss,
Yeah,
that's a bonus. I tell people that's the icing on the cake, rather
sure,
than the primary goal. That's the
sure.
bonus that comes with it.
Sure. Um, Sort of along those lines, you're talking about the Tough Mudder being a challenge. I also know that you and your brothers will do the Murph annually. You've done it for a few years now in a row.
Like 4 or 5 years or something like that.
Would you speak about how you got into that, what it is, why people do it, and what it consists of, and how you prepare for it? All that good stuff. I guess I threw a lot
Yeah.
of questions at you, so I'll add a few more
uh,
questions later.
I'm trying to remember how I got into it because it was during the COVID lockdown. All
Yep.
the gyms were closed, so
Hmm.
we were trying to get creative at our house.
Hmm.
At that point, we didn't have all of our gym equipment. All we had was a pull-up bar and a doorway. We had a TRX band or a
Hmm.
TRX straps, and I'm pretty sure that was it. I think we just had some elastic bands too, so we were trying to get really creative with what we could do at home.
Sure.
And then I don't know how I found it. I can't remember, but we found out about the Murph challenge,
Hmm.
which you can perform um, body weight or with the weight vest.
Hmm.
So the first year I just did it by myself here in my hallway. I just by myself just thought, hey, this would be a fun challenge to do. I've never done this
Hmm.
before. Never done this many push-ups before. So
Hmm.
um, I did it, and then the next year I told my brother, I said, hey, I did this challenge. I think you should do it with me. And then I
Hmm.
told him about it. He found out, and then we did it together. And then a buddy of mine joined in the next year, and then now at this point, it's my two brothers and I, my older ones. We uh we make it an annual, almost like a reason to get together. Honestly, it's now an
Sure.
annual
Sure.
event on Memorial Day weekend. We
Mm.
get together, we have a cookout, we do the Murph first. So it's going to just like a fun little family event we do now.
The Murph, for anyone who doesn't know, is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and then another mile run.
Yeah, you can do the push-ups, the you can do the pull-ups, push-ups, and squats in any order.
Okay.
So you can so what we do is we usually do like 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats, and then just do 20
That
rounds
would
of
be
that
20 rounds,
basically.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're doing it. If you want to be like true to the Murph standard, you have to
Mhm.
wear a 20-pound weight vest. So
Okay.
we did that for a few years now. Um, and every year, kind of we get to the same point, like, why the hell are we doing this to ourselves?
Sure. Sure.
um, but it's honestly, I think of you anytime I do stuff like calisthenics, so like push-ups and pull-ups and stuff. I think about you and the fact that you're freakishly strong in that area. I'm like, well,
That's
shit,
my
Matt can do.
one that's my one thing that's, like, kind of okay. I get this backhanded compliment all the time. They're like, "You're a personal trainer?" Or they're like, "You're a trainer? What kind of trainer? Of what?" You know, like, "What, dogs, horses?" And I'm like, "No, like, people."
What?
Yeah, it's fine. But, I'm not a
That's
huge guy and all that stuff. Yeah, so then, like, if
oh,
I
you're
ever
not a
have to,
face
like, show
model?
someone, yeah, well, if I ever have to show someone that I have some level of strength, I'll just do, like, one set of, like, pull-ups to failure and get, like, maybe 25 reps or something like that, or I'll do a pull-up
Jesus,
with
you can do
weighted, with, like, a
25?
weight belt and do, like, 100 pounds on the weight belt or something like that. Um, and, like, that's my only major flex, that
Good
I'm proud of.
Lord.
It helps that I'm a smaller body, so there's less weight to pull and all that stuff, but,
That's insane.
um,
25? You
that's,
can
like,
do
my one
25
thing.
pull-ups in a row?
Yeah, so the hardest
Holy
part for that
shit.
is actually it's not the, muscular endurance, it's, like, the cardiovascular bit. You get so out of breath doing it that, like, you have to take, like, 5 minutes to recover before you do any other exercise. So, yeah, it's not
Ugh.
fun, but, yeah, it's everybody has, like, that one thing they're good at, and they like to show it off.
Mm-hmm.
One of my
That's
clients I posted yesterday, he was deadlifting, 435 pounds for 5 reps. Um, and yeah, he's got more in the tank too, which is crazy.
whew.
And he always says, "I wish I could do pull-ups like you." And it's like, "Well, I wish I could deadlift like you." So grass is always greener. Be happy with what you
That's
got.
true. That's true.
But,
That's
anyway,
true.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, yeah, that's
Um,
things like,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, that's the truth, though. I don't really think, if you look at any of my lifts, you're like, okay, is that it? Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. But I'm not doing this because I look like Superman or Arnold in the
Yeah.
80s,
The secret to being a good personal trainer is being a one rep demon, which means you demonstrate just one rep. You don't have to do 3 sets of 8 reps or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You do that one rep really well. You have to act like it's not hard. Everyone thinks oh wow, you made that look
Mm-hmm.
so easy. It's like, of course I did.
Like, oh yeah,
But then
yeah.
you're not doing the same amount that they are. So that's
It's
the
like,
that's the
yeah.
true secret is 1 or 2 reps. As long as you can do that, you can be a personal trainer.
Well, as soon as my
Uh,
clients start catching up to me and what they can lift, I usually
yeah,
kick them out.
yeah,
I feel like you're good, you're done.
yeah.
You don't need me anymore. Yeah.
It's always a humbling thing when someone surpasses you. Um, it's a great thing, you're happy for them, but you're also, like, deep down a little devastated. I have these power blocks that go up to 90 pounds, and in my mind, I was like, "I'm gonna be the first person to bench the 90 pounds for reps on those dumbbells," and another
Oof.
client beat me to it, and I feel like I'm the stepdaddy of those dumbbells now, and he's the real daddy. It just like, I can't look at the dumbbells the same anymore, it has, like, this weird emotional attachment to it, you know, so
Yeah, then their flower was taken by someone else. That's
oh, yeah,
disrespectful.
for sure.
That's the
Yeah, but I'm happy for him. I'm upset for me. It's okay, I'll get over it. It's a overall, it's a win. You know, I
that's
gotta
like
dress it
seeing
up
your
all nice.
it's like when your ex, like, dates a friend of yours and you're, like, trying to
Yeah.
hold back the tears, like, "I'm happy for them, I really am."
Yeah, or you stub your toe and you have to look masculine, you know, and all that
You're like,
stuff. Like, I'm fine, nothing happened. As soon as someone leaves the room, you start crying
"Just
in
shake
the
it off,
corner.
Emil. I'm fine."
Yeah. Um, you were also talking about having fun with your exercise and that the Tough Mudder is like a more fun, variation of exercise, and then you mentioned boxing for a bit. Tell us
Mhm.
about your boxing experiences, how you got into that, why you got into it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I got into that because, this was back I was just married. This was, like, 7 years ago, roughly, and I was freshly married. We had been out of
Uh-huh,
college for, I don't know, a couple months or something, or no, a couple
uh-huh,
years, Jesus. Um, at that point, that's when I started getting back into exercise because I realized I was putting weight on. I worked
uh-huh.
next door to a Mexican restaurant, and I was a member, basically.
Okay,
I was a frequent flyer over there.
sure.
So, all those burritos started hanging out down around my belly button, so then I
Yeah.
started working out more. And a buddy of mine was trying to do the same thing, so he and I decided to do this. Have you heard of Athlean X?
Yeah, Jeff Cavalier, he's, one of the old school YouTube, like, sensations for fitness and all that, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we bought one of his programs um, way back then to do it, and one of the workouts was just boxing. I'm like,
Okay.
sick. That sounds fun. I've never done that
Mhm,
before, so I went and bought some like really freaking cheap like MMA gloves. I was like, okay, I'll go hit the bag, and
mhm.
um, even though like it destroyed my hands, it was super
Yeah,
fun. So
yeah.
I would try to incorporate that any chance I got,
Uh-huh,
And then once COVID happened and all the gyms were closed, one of the things I would do is shadow boxing in my basement,
uh-huh.
and then basically try to pretend I was as tough as I could be, fighting off bad guys, trying to keep you know, my imagination going. And then
Sure.
yeah, I just got to boxing. So and now it's become one of my favorite exercises because the cardio is incredible for one,
Yeah, yeah.
and you can really fit 30 minutes like I mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh,
Usually it's all you need, right? 20,
uh-huh.
40 minutes of boxing is an incredible cardio workout.
Yeah. Um, kind of along those lines, I recently got into combat sports myself,
Yeah, you did. Jesus.
so yeah, so it was, what, September last year, I
You're
started
neck deep in
jujitsu.
martial arts at this point, dude.
It's nice, and so, yeah, September last year, I started jujitsu, which is for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like wrestling, it's a grappling sport. You care less about positional dominance, so it's not about pinning people, it's more about submission, and usually that's done with joint locks or it's done with chokes. It's hard to convince someone that it can actually be really fun, and it's not as dangerous as you might think. It's especially hard considering in my second ever jiu-jitsu session, I had my MCL snapped, and I was out of commission for
Jesus.
a little bit. Um,
But it
and I
but it's safe. It's
recovered,
totally
and I
safe.
decided, well, yeah, yeah, there's still obviously risks, but the biggest lesson that I learned was, well, not lesson, I would say the biggest takeaway is I didn't want to be afraid of it because you can get hurt doing
Mhm.
anything. I know it can be dangerous, but I didn't want to be afraid of it. I thought I'll get back into it. I'll do it slowly. I did a couple private lessons to learn the fundamentals before I went back into group class. And the most important thing is no ego. Um,
Mhm.
where I got my leg snapped, it wasn't because I didn't tap. It was on a takedown. It happened really fast and weird. And my knee just like caved in, and I heard and felt a pop. But if you're just,
Oof.
doing it as a hobby, tap every time you feel uncomfortable. It's better safe than sorry. It's never worth the ego. Like it does not weigh 6 months, 9 months recovery, anything like that. Um, having said that, it's a great sport, great community if you were to give it a try. And then I also got into kickboxing, Muay Thai more specifically. The big difference is kickboxing is just punching and kicking. Muay Thai is punching, kicking knees, elbows, and also the clinch, which is stand up grappling. And I just found that with both of them, even though I was a college soccer player and I thought I had very good cardio, in their own ways, they just destroyed me. And
Oh
it
yeah,
was
dude.
it was such a challenge. that I didn't wanna shy away from it. I don't wanna be like, "Oh, this is hard, so I should stop." I wanted to learn it, I wanted to master it. It's a fun way to get the cardio once you figure it out. And then as opposed to, soccer, the skills are transferable. If someone breaks into my house right now and I juggle a ball or try to do some, like, step overs or kick it at them, it's probably not gonna go well. But if I have jujitsu or kickboxing, Muay Thai, then hopefully I would be able to defend myself and my family and my, soon to be born son and my puppy and all
It's
that stuff,
true.
a little bit better. So,
It's true, dude.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, gotta take that into consideration for sure. As cool
sure.
as it would be to, someone breaks in your house, you kick a soccer ball at their head, and that's
Yeah,
how
and
you take them down. It'd be the coolest fucking story in the world.
it would be, but I don't have
Or you
balls
could just
laying
say,
around the house
or you
for
could
that.
say,
Yeah,
kick their ass, But
yeah.
yeah. So you do both right now?
I do both, and interestingly enough, there's so I have a heavy bag here at the house. I don't know if you're able to see, but I have the anchors up there, and I hang a heavy bag from there.
Oh,
I'll do
nice.
my Muay Thai workouts there. I
Wow.
have a jiu-jitsu gym that I go to twice a week. Um, I'm trying to go to their wrestling class once a week because I feel that's my weakest area right now. Is once I'm on the ground, I feel okay, but
Mm-hmm.
getting someone to the ground is a struggle. And then there's an MMA gym that's across the street from that jiu-jitsu gym, and I tried
Nice.
it out yesterday no, Tuesday for the first time, and I'm going back for the second time today. Um,
That's awesome.
the reason why I recommend MMA if someone gets into it is because if you are really good at striking okay, let me take it back. If you're boxing and someone's better than you at boxing, you have nothing that you can do about it. You just have to lose. You have to survive. If you're wrestling and someone's better than you at wrestling, same thing. But if it's MMA, someone's better at boxing, but you're better at wrestling, you have another option. You don't just have to sit there and lose at boxing. Maybe you can add your wrestling into the mix. So to me, it's like a giant game of rock, paper, scissors or like chess. It's a puzzle because like
Yeah.
you spar with a bunch of different people. This guy's better at wrestling than you, so don't let him take you down if you can avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's better at boxing, don't trade punches. This guy's better so you just like look at them and think, okay, how can I figure out this one person? And it's just kind of fun, especially in the training context. It's different than competition. I have no intention to compete. There's some scary people out there, really dangerous people out there, and I have a job where my body matters physically, so I have to be healthy. Training, you usually are supposed to care for your partners and not try to hurt them. Give them time to tap if you're in
Mm-hmm.
a submission, not punch them as hard as you can in the face. So it's in that context, it's a really great challenge. I enjoy it. I recommend it to anybody who's interested. Um, Also, I think becoming a dad, it gave me the urge to feel physically capable of protecting my family because I have a bunch of clients who are like 6'4" to 20. They can
Mm-hmm.
just exist and be a threat. I feel like I need to have pretty significant amounts of training at my size. I'm 5'10", a buck 50. I'm not huge. To even just have an equalizer, not even an advantage, just to be on the same kind of playing field. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's the crazy thing, dude. You become a dad, and now you're like, oh shit. I gotta keep
responsibilities.
everyone safe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're gonna look
You
at you, and you
know?
can't just like run in the corner and hide and cry and hope it goes away.
No, no.
You
That
know.
that was my
Yeah.
strategy before, but now I can't run and cry. I can
Yeah,
fight
I
and
had to get rid of
cry.
my thunder blanket. I got rid of my thunder blanket because
I got rid of my whistle.
yeah,
I gotta replace that with two
yeah,
fists.
yeah.
But
Um, so yeah, there's that, and then um, we're kind of done with the main topics I want to discuss. I know that you have to get out of here soon, but I wanted to ask you just a couple kind of like rapid fire questions if you're okay with that.
yeah, dude.
Okay, so is there anything in the training space? It could be obstacle course racing, any like general personal training. It could be the Murph, it could be boxing, anything that you can think of that you'd like to see change. Is there something that kind of grinds your gears, or is like a pet peeve for you that you see in this space?
How much time you got? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. Uh, I think it's the same issue that it always is. It's just the fact that I think at the biggest point now, um, social media fitness influencers are really making it hard for us to make things realistic for people.
sure.
Um, because talking to kids, thinking about who are following these dudes on TikTok who are just absolutely jacked, telling them that if they take their magic supplement, that's how they're gonna look.
Sure.
Or my dudes who are like in their 50s or 60s thinking that they take some testosterone that's gonna magically change their
Yeah,
bodies.
sure.
When reality, all I gotta do is just stop drinking as much and eat a little bit better.
Yeah, the people
I
that
think it's
yeah.
It's just too
Go ahead.
complicated now. Is it? Well, I
Yeah,
was just gonna say we like to talk about making it simple because
sure.
it really can be, and it's just there's too much out there mudding the waters.
You have people that say eat fruit. Some people say don't eat fruit because the sugar's bad for you. Eat vegetables, don't eat vegetables. Eat meat, don't eat meat. So yeah, I can
Exactly.
see how it's an incredibly confusing space. And general rule of thumb for people who feel confused because you see misleading information: if you had to go to the grocery store and someone said pick a healthy meal, I'm pretty sure most people would be able to do that. I think they know the difference between, a bunch of pizzas, burgers, and ice cream not being healthy, and maybe some vegetables, a healthy
Mm-hmm.
carb, and like some lean meats and all that stuff. I think people generally have that understanding. If you get 80% of the nutrition correct, you reduce your drinking a little bit because there really is no benefit to drinking. Um, and you just increase your exercise, your weekly exercise. That goes a long way. And supplements and
Mm-hmm.
all that, yeah, some people find it interesting and helpful, and some can be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, if you're not taking care of the 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 big rocks, the rest is kind of irrelevant. So I typically tell people, you want to talk about supplements, you're not sleeping properly, you're not eating properly, and you're not hydrating, and your stress is through the roof, and you're talking about how one pill is going to magically
Mm-hmm.
transform your body and all that stuff. You're taking caffeine to get up in the morning, you're taking melatonin to go to sleep at night. They're competing,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
um,
I
uh,
yeah.
go ahead, please.
No, no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to ask on the flip side, is there anything that you're really happy with seeing in the space? The opposite of a pet peeve, something like really bright that makes you happy.
I'll tell you one thing that really I'm pumped to see is that we're seeing how strength training is being promoted by women for women.
Okay.
That's freaking huge, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, more women are strength training now more than ever.
Mhm.
Because how many times have you talked to a female client who says that they don't want to lift weights because they'll get bulky,
Bulky.
right?
Yep.
They do cardio to lose weight, and like that's
Sure.
kind of cliche, but like that shit's the truth,
Mhm.
you know. But we're seeing more and more. That's one of the biggest things I'm loving to see, though, with all the social media. There's a lot
Mhm.
of women out there who are lifting weights, and like you're not going to look like a dude if you lift weights.
Mhm.
You're just going to be healthier and stronger.
Mhm. My response when a woman says she doesn't want to get bulky is like, "Oh, it's that easy, huh? It's like I've been doing this for since high school. Look at me, like,
Yeah,
you know."
it's like
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know. I mean,
no one
I
does
barely
one
have
dumbbell
the body of a
curl.
man now. Yeah,
Yeah, no one does one dumbbell curl and then magically turns into, Hulk Hogan or something like that.
yeah,
So it doesn't happen that quickly.
yeah,
And you know what? I told female clients before, if you find yourself getting too jacked, we'll change the workout. We'll dial it back. Do you know what I mean? But like just to let them
yeah,
think, it's like, okay, sure. Like if you get too jacked and you start getting jacked and you hate it, because usually sometimes they do start getting jacked and they love it. But if you start getting jacked and you hate it, guess what? We'll change. We'll pivot. We'll give you exactly what you're looking for.
yeah.
Um,
That
but yeah,
and
that typically
physical
doesn't happen.
therapists. I don't know if you
Yeah,
work with PTs, but I'm seeing a lot of physical therapists now who are understanding the benefits of strength training
sure,
instead of the classic "if this hurts, don't do it."
sure.
That's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
I really love because we actually work with PTs here, and the fact that we're all on the same page, that's huge.
Mhm, sure. Um, I'll go off that a little bit. My next guest on the podcast, I'm not going to spoil who it is and all this stuff, but I'll say she is
Damn it.
a doctor of physical therapy. She has a background in neuroscience. She is an absolute unit when it comes to lifting and running and all that stuff. And she has forever people think of physical therapy as get a massage, do some stretches, 3 sets of 10
Hmm.
reps with bands.
Right.
And that's supposed to
Right.
magically make your problems disappear. For me, physical therapy is just a regressed version of strength training. In fact, it is just strength training to the level of which you're capable at any point in time. When I tore my
Hmm.
MCL, leg extensions, 20 pounds, if that's the most I could do, that's physical therapy. It's also strength
Hmm.
training. And you just
Yeah.
scale it back to a level where you got, in theory, they say it's pre injury. I say you should be stronger than where you got injured. So you're less likely to have an injury happen in the first place. If you weren't
Yeah.
strong enough to not get injured the first time around, you should probably get even stronger the second time around to resist that injury happening again. Um, but there is definitely not so great physical therapists out there. I see that changing a lot, and I really appreciate that there are a lot of physical therapists who will not fear monger, will not try to
Hmm.
make you scared of movements and never do them again,
Yeah.
and just try to build you up and be more resilient. And I think personal trainers are also getting smarter at that too.
Hmm.
And it's making those two worlds blur and kind of blend better. On the
Yeah.
flip side of that token, you see sometimes where personal trainers don't respect their scope and they try to
Right.
diagnose and treat pain,
Right.
that's a red flag. If you have a personal trainer that says, "You have this injury, I'm sure of it, and this is how you're gonna deal with it," that's not what they're
Hmm.
supposed to do. If they're able to work with
Right.
physical therapists and help you with that, they're able to, sometimes throw a couple things to the wall and see what sticks, but they're
Hmm.
not able to do those tests. They didn't pass any licensing exams, any of that. So,
Right. Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
I wanna respect your time. Um,
Please do.
do you have
I'm
any parting
important.
pieces, bad bites? Any final things that you wanna say?
I'm happy to be here. That's all I want to
You're
say.
happy to be here?
I'm happy to talk to you, man.
Let's make this, even bigger. Let's make this more, like, philosophical. Being happy to
Mm.
be where you are,
Yeah. Mm.
that's a really beneficial, powerful thing. You
Yeah.
know, you can always look
Philosophizer.
to somebody else and say, "I wish I had what they had," but there's someone else who might be looking at you and be saying, "I wish I had what
Yeah.
he had." So it's good to just understand where you are and be grateful for the things that you have, and I'm sure that's exactly what you were trying to say. And yeah, no, I appreciate it. Grateful that you were a guest
No,
on the show and you
I'm just
shared your
saying
time with us.
I'm happy to see your face, man. I'm
Yeah.
excited to I can't wait till this little baby comes, man. I cannot wait to see some pictures when this little baby
Well,
comes
we'll have to
around.
do a Cincinnati trip. I was talking to Megan.
Oh my
You're
God.
Cincinnati
Please do.
based, and then the last guest I had is Cincinnati based. And so like I have lots of people that I can go hang out with when I make a trip and all that stuff. So we'll have to do a Cincinnati trip soon. It'll be hard to convince her pregnant to drive, but I think post baby, bringing the kid, I think I could talk her into that.
Yeah,
Um,
you'll have to kind of cross that bridge when you get there because you're like, yeah, who knows what that's gonna look what your life's gonna look like once that baby's
it's
here.
different interacting with her now that she's pregnant, but I won't go down that road at all.
No, it's
I'll get in trouble.
loving. It's all loving.
Yep.
It's all
Last thing
good.
is, if you want to be found, where can people find you?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook and Instagram, Ascend Performance Training, and then our
Okay.
website is ascendtrainers.com. We
Okay.
haven't figured out the OnlyFans tag yet, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you let me know when you get that figured out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. You'll be the
I'll do
first
that for
person I
everybody.
invite, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Evan.
All right, brother. It was great
Yep.
talking to you.
Yeah. Yep. You too.
See you,
Bye.
man. Bye.